Hello, and we're back after a week break, week holiday. I was emptying the flat. Yep, and it wasn't
I was
doing something.
tough. Yeah, all that
really busy
stuff.
But there was literally zilch news that happened during that week.
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who news, yeah, obviously. I mean, there's a lot of news going on in the world at the moment, but we focus on good old science fiction, which doesn't really matter. That's that's my cup of tea there. So, yes, but there's lots of news this week. Well, lots. I mean, compared to nothing, it's lots. But compared to a new series coming out, it's not too much. But so there'll be jump codes in the description below. You can jump to topics that interest you, I guess. So definitely one of the big worrying things that we saw this week was the BBC Wales director suggesting that Series 13 might be delayed for filming, which is just brilliant.
Not surprising.
But also goddamn frustrating. I'm so glad that they filmed bloomin' Revolution of the Daleks before this happened. So at least we're gonna get the festive special, which will hopefully just tie over the gap. But what he was saying was that when filming's happening, it's going to be, at the minute, it has to follow the social distancing rules, and in the media industry, risk assessments and stuff, they have to be really, really followed, because you can get sued for tens of millions. It's crazy. If you do not follow the legal requirements, it's really easy to get sued and to lose make a company go bust, to be honest. And I know for shows like Coronation Street, they've started doing it, and obviously they've just, because it's so they can write into it about the 2 meter rule, and it's they're barely touching props while they're filming, and they're just using the young actors and actresses, and not the older ones who are more high at risk, they're staying off screen. But obviously with Doctor Who, it's all props and science fiction. You can't really do that without kind of ruining the series. So, I mean, they could film a shit ton of TARDIS scenes, in the console room, where it's just, the Doctor and the companions. You could kind of get those done very, very quickly. You'd have to basically do a weird filming block structure where kind of one director just controls all the TARDIS shoot scenes and maybe talks to the other directors about how they want it to be done. I guess the director could come in, but it's just having them come in for one day seems pointless to then come back and do, it'd be better just to have one director just cover all the TARDIS shoot scenes, get those all done at the start of a season, where it's just the Doctor and the companions, maybe the odd guests character, but just get those done super early. And then at least that's the scene where you're not touching loads of props. It's just the TARDIS console's already there, because usually it's someone buys a prop, then they give it to the prop department, and the prop department give it to the set designers, and the set designers put it on set, and it's gone through 3 people before the actor's even touching it. So but for the TARDIS console, it's there, it's built, so there would be less props, unless they were super required. So it's that would work, I guess. But I mean, I think they were planning on filming in September anyway, and it's June now, and things are kind of, what is it, only 1 meter now, or I don't know.
Well, no, it's still 2.
Is it still 2?
Thinking of
dropping it to 1.
Moving,
which isn't that much, really. That's let me get my.
No.
That's not much. I just had a measuring tape next to me. Literally about, there we go. You can see that. That's a meter. That's my usual distance from people. Except maybe if you're queuing up. But if you just keep it going in queues, it's basically back to normal, isn't it?
More or less.
It's basically just, people's personal spaces at this point. Just, at least people hopefully will learn not to get in people's personal bubbles anymore. Maybe that's the one positive that's going to come out of it. Like, no one's going to be like in your space. Like, you know, like when you're in the shops and you're like looking at something and someone just reaches over and just grabs it in front of your face.
Yeah.
And it's like, you could just ask me to move or just, you know, wait patiently. Like, hopefully maybe those people will not go back to that past of doing that and just, you know, wait, do the wide curve around people. Dodge people. It's quite nice shopping now. I've actually quite enjoyed it, except the queuing up outside's a bit tiring, but obviously needs to be done. But yeah. So yeah, how do you feel about delays?
I mean, again, it's unavoidable and not exactly unexpected. So like, fine. I mean, you know, it's weird times. They need to do what needs to be done. It's not. No.
Do you think it will still air August time?
Sorry, you say it just cut out.
Do you think that it will still air like August next year? Because I think that's when they're aiming for. Like 11 months.
I mean, it depends on when they start again, right?
Yeah.
It's not impossible, but I wouldn't count on that, I guess.
I'm interested about what their method of recording is, because I know for a fact that some people like to edit as they shoot. So they'll shoot the scene and they'll start to edit it straight away to see how it's shaping up. But sometimes people wait until the whole thing's done and then start editing.
Yeah.
Which I think there's pros and cons for both. Because if you start editing early, you might think, oh my god, this isn't working. You might panic early on and do some changes which actually you didn't need to do. But also then you can pick up on things early, and also usually then the film is finished, edited sooner because you've already kind of edited as you've gone along. Yeah. At least you've kind of got a starting block to work off of, so you're not like, shit, I've got to edit 29 scenes, you know, like you're like, okay, well, I've already edited, you know, 18 of the scenes, and I can just tweak those to fit how the rest of it, how the pattern runs. And I wonder what this current creative team's editing style is. Do they wait until the whole episode is wrapped and then kind of edit, or do they edit as they go along?
I don't know.
It'd be interesting because it might explain why they take longer, because if they wait to the very end, then you got to count all those weeks. But if they're editing while they're shooting, that kind of cuts out time. And I kind of prefer doing just a bit of a rough edit to see how it's going. And then you can also see, holy fuck, we've missed this shot. But that's more like for rookie. I'm like on a proper production like that, you don't really miss shots, or you shouldn't do at least. Because you should have a shot list every, you know, people following paperwork. But because so much money goes into it. But, you know, like, it's at least you can see what's going on. You can be like, oh, well, that really worked in this scene. So I know we're going to use this shot. So let's keep the doctor's kind of behavior the same from this take into this one. You know, like, but it also speeds up that post-production. And I guess CG always takes a while, but I don't know. Like, should it be getting far? Like, that's the thing. I don't know much about like CGI, but I wonder with, you know, technology also gets, you know, more and more comes along, and improvements. Like, surely that like shortcuts will be made all the time now.
I mean, yes and no, because like the easier things get, the more expectations is placed on them to get better. So things take longer because, you know, while they might have a higher budget to do these things, they need to look better. They need to fit modern audience expectations.
I mean, all the CGI in the last series was pretty damn good, apart from the I can't remember the name, but the Earth cop out. What was it called? Orphan 55. There we go.
Oh right, yeah.
The dregs. That was it. It was the dregs, which were the like that was the only shot. And is what's kind of, and I feel sorry for the production team, because it's like it's the bad stuff that always sticks out far more than like all the good. And like
Yeah.
like freaking out, like that opening, the whole first episode, the Cyberman two-parts. I can't remember what part one was called. What was it called? The last Cyberman? No, the Lone Cyberman. Oh god, I can remember like either side of it, like the haunting of Villa Diodati. I'm probably saying I probably butchered that, but
Probably, yeah.
But the first part looked fantastic though, of like where the Cyberman helmet was floating through space.
Yeah.
Like it looked really good. Like that was great. Ascension of the Cybermen. That was it. Like that looked fantastic. And
It
like
did.
fair play to the new series. It is hitting some good levels for.
Well, I wouldn't say it. I wouldn't quite go as far as to say fantastic. It doesn't. It's nothing standout. But it's about what you'd expect
TV
like
budget.
a TV budget. Yeah.
A UK TV budget, because I mean we're not America.
Yes. Yeah,
It's
that's
just money chucked at things. It's crazy. Which I kind of wish, yeah. But well. So yeah, I guess we see what happens. I wonder if this will be Jodie's last series. I wonder if she'll do 4. It'll be interesting. In some ways, I kind of want her to stay on for longer. So hopefully that they can, because I feel like if she leaves after this series, it could be enough for like Peter Capaldi situation where really the best that we got him was kind of. I would have loved enough a series of Peter Capaldi, because he was
I'd
really
say-
getting into it. Like by series
Yeah.
10, he was like, I freaking loved him. Like at the end of series 9, I was really like, okay, yeah, I'm really kind of like end of series 8. I was a bit like, okay, I like him, but I wasn't quite feeling it. Then and obviously after Heaven Sent, I was like, this is banging. And then you just every episode in series 10, he was just knocking it out the park.
I think the difference here is that Capaldi, even during when it was early on a bit weaker, like he had his stand-up moments, and they changed kind of how he was as a Doctor as the series went on, but
Yeah.
like that was kind of placed as more of kind of his arc, I guess, in a way, rather than it just being like straight up, we're not sure quite what to do with him. Whereas Jodie, it felt like in a lot of ways they haven't quite figured her out yet.
It feels a bit like a kind of more of a, I know, Peter Davison is the one I'd like compare her to slightly, like, because Peter Davison never really had much of a, he just kind of had, he was a character, he was that incarnation of a Doctor, and I like Peter Davison's Doctor, but he never, like, he doesn't go for any kind of, like, he's not super out there. Like John Pertwee's Doctor was clearly very, he hated being on Earth, blah blah blah, and he kind of became softer over time, especially due to Joe Grant. He kind of showed his weaknesses eventually, and with the introduction of a Master. It was perfect. But during his first series, the Third Doctor's a bit, bit William Hartnell-esque in some ways, and then he kind of comes into his own. But Peter Davison pretty much stayed pretty much the same all the way through. It was just, he was young, so it became hard for him to control situations like he used to be able to as, the Fourth and Third Doctor. And, that's kind of just, that was his character thing. But yeah, so I don't know. It'll be interesting. They definitely hit some better beats with Jodie's Doctor this season just gone. Especially showing a bit more of like
I still couldn't necessarily point you to something that is truly like, yes, this is the moment. I
like the bit when she was talking about, this isn't, our team isn't always a flat ground. Sometimes it's a mountain with me on top in the stratosphere. Like that was a really nice moment. And I do want to. I am planning actually at the minute to go kind of watch through the series because I just got a new TV and I'm excited to see it all nice. Go back, but also like watch the classic stuff. I'm going to be interested how that looks on my TV.
See where all the scenes are.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see though, because I've never really watched Doctor Who on like super big screen except round yours a couple of times. But
did you have the Spearhead in Space Blu-ray?
I do. I think
you need to get on that because like on a 4K TV. Whew.
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm planning on actually going from like William Hartnell all the way through, like just a couple of episodes at a time, just maybe an episode a day. Just take it slowly, not like try and like smash through at any time. But I've got all of them now, and it's been a while since I've watched probably a large majority of them. So I might just go through it and just just enjoy the ride. But then also maybe simultaneously, if I get bored of Classic, I might then start Series 1 and kind of do both at the same time, because they rarely, they don't really cross over, so it doesn't really matter watching. And that's the thing I like about Doctor Who. You can kind of jump in on any episode at any time because it's time travel. Like, it doesn't matter.
Usually, yeah. Unless it's like part of a connected plot, but
yeah, which is that's the issue of like connected plots series. Like, I find them hard to drop into. Like Series 6, I find always quite hard to watch an episode in Series 6 because so many were like plot related. Apart from The Doctor's Wife, which is the sickest, one of the best favorite.
I mean, I think you could get away with a few of them. Like
Night Terrors works, God Complex
Night
works.
Terrors, God Complex.
Curse of a Black Spot, if you're feeling like a...
I guess so, yeah.
feel like that one. But, Series 5 I need to watch more of. It's also like, because I got the Blu-rays now, so it's going to be nice on my screen. But yeah, so... Big news. Well, spoilers. So, for those who are...
Though I do wonder about that, considering I think
spoiler?
the Radio Times reported on this, and usually they're more of a mouthpiece of what the BBC wants in a lot of cases. So it's kind of like, was it really? Or was it like...
Well, apparently it came up on Twitter, is what I read. It was a Twitter post, which maybe they shared, but so that they had the control of the story, I guess. But yeah, so there's a skip point on screen now to after we finish talking about this, because obviously some people don't want spoilers. So here's your chance. There you go. That was it. So
I guess, though, although the fact that there is a new Dalek is like, we're not going to show the Dalek design, I don't think, are we?
I don't have that much effort in me.
Think, like, yeah.
But so it's interesting. So obviously, Revolution of the Daleks had the Recon Dalek, and they were smart to not show the design when it was attacked in the past. They were smart to do that.
Well, they did show it in like a
from an above
like a drawing, and it was the Russell T Dalek.
Well, that's just it wasn't intricate though. Like, it wasn't an intricate drawing. Like, so if you did the general
you
shape...
could see it was, like, from the... I mean, it had enough detail to it, you could tell.
Well, I mean, all Daleks... Well, okay. So, obviously, the Dalek kind of, it built its own shell out of scraps, basically. And it looked pretty good for what it was. A bit thin, maybe. But yeah, it was okay because it was scraps. It made sense, I guess, like for what it was, and for a one-off Dalek, it was really cool.
That would have worked fine.
I worked really well. However, looking at this new kind of picture that's come up online,
it looks malnourished.
It does. It looks a bit anorexic, doesn't it? Like, right. And it's interesting though because I love the color design. I really think the colors are cool. It takes me back to kind of Genesis of Daleks. I think black and silver Dalek designs are really freaking cool.
Kind of thought more of the kind of leader from Remembrance more than anything, actually.
Yeah.
Just in terms of the color scheme.
That one as well. I mean, also like the leader back in the kind of Dalek invasion of Earth, except obviously they had the blue bumps, not black. But I'm looking at my figure, and it's the same kind of color, silver, black head. It's just they had blue kind of bumps instead of black. But actually, so for color, I actually quite like this a lot.
Yeah, color's fine.
And in some ways, I gotta argue that we have had the same Dalek design for now 15 years. So I think
they did try to.
Yeah, but I mean it was a mistread in terms of the color choices that they went with. I think the designs were fine, but it was the kind of really just primary colors, like when you see like the color wheels and it's like the primary colors. It's like they went
that
for them.
And the size of it, because it made it very difficult for the operators to use. I mean, that was part of the reason why they weren't used very much afterwards, was just because they were really difficult to maneuver for the operators.
Yeah. I mean, they just got bigger, and it kind of didn't like back in the day. They were quite small, but these were like as tall as Matt Smith, and I get making big is powerful and like looking down and dominating and stuff, but like I don't think Daleks need to be tall. They're like
No.
because like too big, and that's a disadvantage in some ways. You know, like small gaps, small spaces. It's like the smaller you are, like you can get into more places, and you've got levitation, so you don't need to worry
the
about.
Daleks are exactly going to be very maneuverable to begin with, but
Well, they blast through shit, but I mean, I I feel like it was the right time for a design.
Yeah, I agree.
It definitely is time. I think the only thing I don't like is the fin bit above the base. The different kind of top bit is fine. I'm okay with that. It's the bit just under the guns that is weirdly thin there.
Okay. So, firstly, I really hate the base. The fact that the balls aren't now symmetrical and they got all these weird, like, extra, like, lumps and extra bits in them really. Yeah. The bit above the grill is, like, really, really thin, like, just inside the middle of the. As opposed to having, like, a bit of space to breathe. And it looks like it's just got, like, a really. Like, it's had its neck crushed in. The eye stalk is really, really short, like even more than usual, and there's like no like extra things on them. It's just like it literally does just look like somebody stuck like a toilet plunger on it. I can't even see what's happening with the actual plunger.
I think it might be slightly if it's a
I think
different
there's a
type of
flower in the
Dalek.
way or something.
I mean, we gotta. If this is a Recon Dalek, then maybe that's why it has these different like things to it. Which is interesting. I mean, we know
if it's a one-off, maybe fine. But like, if this is what they're gonna go with as like our new permanent design, then yuck. I no. I'm sorry. I really no.
I feel like the issue is if you don't make enough changes, then you're pretty much just sticking to the Russell T1. Which
I think there are smart ways you can make changes to them without doing this. Like, I don't necessarily mind there being more decals and more of these kind of abstract kind of shapes on them, but I don't like the way they've done them here, to be quite frank.
I'm okay with the kind of headpiece because I mean you got to think again, like the actual like mutant is in the middle bit, so why does the neck bit need to be as
it looks like a
wide.
builder's like the head looks like a builder's helmet spray painted black.
I mean, that's. I think they pretty much look the same as what they are at the moment.
It looks very plasticky. Like,
well, to be fair, this isn't a great. This isn't a great quality.
Picture.
Yeah,
I admit that. Okay, it's probably a bit more metallic, but like,
I think.
I guess
on camera, I think it could look quite good, and I'm leaning more on I like this design. I like it more than the palindrome Daleks for sure. I think this is a step in for a redesign, and they definitely want to leave our own mark on it. Like this isn't like bad. I think the base could be a bit more. At the minute, it's a bit more even. Like it looks more like a dress rather than like originally you could tell which way was pointing forward for a Dalek. But I think if this Dalek turned to face the other way, you could think that was the front. Do you get what? Maybe it is. Maybe it is at the minute facing backwards. Who can tell? Because you can't really. I don't know. I mean, it looks like a Dalek.
It'd be weird for them to put it round that way.
And in terms of like the stuff on the base, we've seen that they do have more weapons. I mean, the Recon Dalek had freaking missiles in its ass basically in the last one, which was cool. Doing some different stuff. I'm going with I like the design. I'll be interested to see what it looks like on camera. I think it would probably look a whole lot better than a phone picture. I mean, phones never do much justice.
Again, if this is kind of a one-off, then I'm kind of okay with it. But
well,
I don't really like this as like the conceptual like new Daleks. And actually, in other like leaked photos, there is like a bunch of Russell T Daleks there as well. And what appears to be a destroyed base. I wonder if this is kind of another civil war.
I think that this will be. I think this is going to be some kind of war like that. I mean, it was a battle on the bridge between Daleks, is all that we know. So I think this is a war. It would just be interesting where they go.
Remembrance Part 2.
It'll be interesting because there's definitely going to be different fractions of Daleks at this point, you know, as there were, like, you know, in Remembrance, you know, there was Davros's one, and then there were the other ones who went off without Davros, and I mean, it would be very much the same. Davros is alive. He is alive out there. I wonder if he'll make an appearance, actually.
Could do.
That might happen, to be fair. Little cameo.
Not under realm possibility.
And
Or it'd have to be more of more than a cameo if it was Davros, I think.
It depends if you're setting it up for a later story. Sometimes a cameo is fine. Like, sometimes I wish they would do that, just a little cameo to set up a future coming story. Like, I think that's a whole lot more.
They kind of done that with Jack.
Yeah, which is cool. It was just in a story with way too much, but like setting him up is sweet. I think that's going to be, you know, that's cool. Maybe this is the story he's part of. Maybe this is the one, you know, came and did filming. Because I mean, when he did that filming for that was definitely a 1-day shoot where he did all his dialogue. You know, that didn't take long to film all that. So it depends if Fugitive was but Fugitive wasn't one of the last ones. That was one of the first that they shot, actually. But who knows? But you know, I think it's all that bad for a design, a new design. I like the colors, good choice, gives a bit of that classic feel, but also feels new. As long as they explain, you know, why the vents on the side, you know, just some. Is it some cool gadgets? What's going on?
I don't know. I'm just not a fan, but like,
it'd be cool.
Maybe it'll look better on screen. You know, I'm open to the possibility of it growing on me, but just from looking at it, yeah, I don't really like it.
I mean, the new Sidemen didn't look too good in the behind-the-scenes photos, but I thought they looked a whole lot better on screen.
The helmets look fine, but the rest of it I still don't like with those.
It's a bit too much, isn't it?
It's just all too messy. Like it just feels like so often in like modern Doctor Who, how do we update a villain? Slap another billion things on them. You know?
Yeah, it's like sometimes
is key. Yeah,
because things like for machinery, like you want it as sleek as possible, don't you? Like you got to think like, oh well, if they're, you know, using rocket boots and stuff, you know, something like that, like they got to be aerodynamic. So what's going to make them aerodynamic? You know, like stuff like that is.
That's why the Russell T Daleks have lasted. It's because they do have detailings on like their helmet and stuff, but it's just like the right amount. It's never too busy. It's never too. It's not messy. It's clean, but it like has enough there to keep you visually interested in it. This just looks like an impressionist, like some sort of art house piece. Like, this is my, you know, well, no, like kind of like something you see in like a painting, you know, kind of like, this is supposed to represent the
or like
thing
you mean like a caricature.
No, I don't really mean a caricature. I just mean like
it's got just this slightly too many, you know, lines going on like around the bottom that Silverline didn't need to be there.
It just feels like they slapped on shapes on it for.
Yeah, I do feel like that's a thing that they do at the minute, like adding on these kind of like.
Because like in this one, you have like all these like extra triangles across the middle, and then like
not particularly
across the base, they have like all the kind of almost the square bits and.
Yeah, I don't particularly mind that. I don't like the kind of weird like kind of extra layer on the base. You see how it kind of goes out slightly and then comes down. I don't really like that. But also the kind of thick base does call back to kind of classic a bit. I just think like they used to kind of be round, didn't they? They used to be round.
That is still kind of very Russell T in terms of like the more line based.
I don't know why.
But actually, the base itself is very thin. Like the top bit, I think it's just like a new. I think could be kind of seen as more of a new section of it, I suppose, rather than.
Interesting. Well, I think it could look decent on screen. It'll be. I'm interested to see what the story is. For sure. Like, it's caught my interest. It's got my attention. I'm interested to see what happens, what's going on. I mean, the Doctor's starting off in jail anyway, from the end of A Timeless Children, so
possibly sharper.
So that would be freaking awesome, to be honest. But I kind of sadly doubt that. But there we go.
And it does kind of have some resemblance to that. The actual, like when we saw the outside of the prison.
Okay. Oh, all right. This isn't the first time the new Pepper Pot is in action. So, okay. So the footage on the bridge is actually the RTD era Daleks about to exterminate the Dark Recon Daleks. So this is the Dark Recon. Okay. So they're going after this Recon. So who's behind the Recon? Maybe that's the question.
Like I said, it's kind of like a new civil war. Yeah. That's what I was.
Okay. Yeah. That's cool. So maybe someone's building Daleks instead, like someone who isn't Davros, and that's why they look like this. That could be something. But talking about Daleks, Titan Comics announces TimeLord Victorious Volume 1, and it's the 10th Doctor and Daleks. There's a lot of 10th Doctor.
Yeah.
Which I guess makes sense. Kind of the most popular of the modern era.
Well, it's just kind of the one they're focusing on for this line more than anyone.
Yeah, but looks decent again.
Yeah,
I kind of want a timeline of what's when, so it kind of makes sense. Maybe it's in release order, but I kind of doubt it.
Yeah,
and looks decent, but there we go. That's stuff. So, yeah. And then we got basically the only other thing that was nice this week was both David Tennant and Jodie Whittaker appeared on the Late Late Show, James Corden, in costume, which was very cool to see. David Tennant still looks freaking good in it. His hair, actually, because he's kind of got quite long hair at the minute, probably for a role that he's working towards or just because he can't get a haircut. But, like, he looks freaking sick in it still. Like, damn, such a good costume. Oh, man, takes me back. Can't believe it was, it's been 10 years since he regenerated. Over 10 years, over a decade. Crazy. I mean, it's getting on from when Matt Smith left, like already 7 years since that. And that feels like yesterday. It's crazy. It's just crazy all this time passing by. But, yeah. Wow. And it was Jodie Whittaker's birthday sometime recently. So happy birthday to her. And Caroline Ford turned 80 recently as well. So birthdays galore. Good stuff.
Such a nice person.
Yeah, she was lovely. Well, you've met her a couple of times actually, haven't you?
3 times now, actually.
There we go. Jesus. All right, it's not a competition.
No.
But yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. Really, there's not too much else going on in that Doctor Who world. That's kind of it. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, quickly, there was another thing. Big Finish announced a series based on, like at least one CD based on one set based on Rory Williams' Last Centurion.
Oh yeah, yes. I did see that. That looks interesting. So it's his time as he waiting, I guess, protecting the Pandorica.
Yes.
That would be interesting, because definitely some shit must have happened during those... How many years did he wait? 100 years? Was it? 100? No, how long? Roman... He waited a long freaking time. 2,000 years, was it? He knows.
Yeah, a long time.
He waited a long-ass time. Poor guy.
Yep.
Poor guy. But yeah, that looks interesting. But they make so much Big Finish; it's so hard to keep up, man.
It is, and like I couldn't buy most of these if I wanted to.
I think maybe we should get a shared account and then just get them online for some of them.
Download them all.
Just empty our bank accounts.
Just split it down the middle and pay for half of them each.
Yeah, there we go. Works out. Yeah. Then I get half for free. So really, it's 50% off if you think about it that way. Math. Stonks. But there we go. There we go. That's it. You reached the end of the video. Congratulations. You win good memories of this podcast. Congratulations. Do all that YouTube stuff of disliking, don't subscribe, and definitely don't hit that notification bell, because who wants that?
Don't hit me either.
Don't hit Comrade.
I'm already in pain.
He's in a lot of pain at the minute, so don't do that, because that's just mean. Don't hit me either though, because just violence doesn't solve anything, but hitting the bell does. So I mean, if you do have to hit someone, I suppose you could subscribe and you could hit the bell, but just don't hit us. That's the most important part of this podcast for the week. Please don't hit us. There we go. Right. Thank you very much for listening, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.